my most worn fragrances for fall. So I've compiled a small list of fragrances that, at least so far in the autumn timeline, I've worn quite a lot of. And remember, everything I mentioned in this video will be in links in the description if you are interested. So I'm going to start with my favorite. This is the all-time classic Shalimar by Guerlain. This is so good. This is one of my absolute favorites. Beautiful, beautiful, smoky fragrance. So this is the Eau de Parfum, which is of course stronger than the Eau de Toilette. I prefer the Eau de Parfum because it is stronger and it has much stronger incense and smoke notes. So I really like smoky incense sort of fragrances, and this really hits the bill. It is kind of mysterious, very attractive. It's also blended with notes of amber and resins and, you know, musk notes. So it's in general a very heavy fragrance and also very warm, which is also why I enjoy it for the autumn. It is definitely one of those warm, cozy fragrances. You know, it kind of reminds you of sitting next to the fireplace or something like that. So it's really, really nice, super luxurious. It came out in the 1920s, so it's pretty vintage, but it's also just super nice, really great longevity because of those heavy notes. I mean, I would say minimum 8 hours. It also has a delicious vanilla note to kind of smooth out those more harsh smoky notes, so it's really well balanced. You know, it won't blow you away or punch you in the face, you know, it's still balanced. So yeah, this is definitely one of my most worn options, and it's just really nice. Then one of my other most worn options, which is also a pretty vintage option as well, which is Youth Dew from Estee Lauder. So this came out in the 50s, 1953. A little bit similar to Shalimar, but more on the spicy side. I mean, it has cloves, it has cinnamon, nutmeg, and then it's blended with some balsamic notes, lots of resins, some florals like roses. This has a huge list of notes. I mean, you're not messing around when you wear this. It is very, very strong. It is kind of like the original Spice Bomb for women, though, and it's just kind of an unpenetrable wall of scent. And the thing I like about it, because when you first put it on, it's kind of like overwhelming, but then you give it a few minutes, it calms down, it becomes a little bit more powdery, a little bit sweeter, but still retaining those spice notes. So again, another really well balanced one that is definitely really, really perfect for autumn, and I would also say really good for winter, because the spice notes kind of remind me of, like, you know, Christmas time sort of thing. So this is definitely a really nice fragrance if you want something spicy, warm, and really long lasting, because this will not come off of your skin easily. Then, one of my more modern options that I also really like is this unisex scent from Monera, Red Tobacco. So Red Tobacco, again, tobacco is one of my favorite notes, super smoky, super kind of seductive, warm most of all. So the thing about this as well, besides the tobacco note, it has some oud, and oud is a really delicious note as well, kind of a musky, woodsy note. Then it's mixed with a little bit of sandalwood, guaiac wood, and then some other warm notes. So overall, it's a really, really delicious tobacco oud fragrance with a little bit of sweetness from some fruit notes, like apple and things like that. So this is really, really nice. Again, it's unisex, so it's good for men and women. It's also super warm, definitely great for when it starts getting really cold. You know, like moving from early fall into late fall and then into winter. This is really, really warm, really cozy, and just really nice. It's very unique. I have not smelled anything that smells remotely similar to this. So if you want to stand out from the crowd, this is a really good option to try. Mainly because of how it blends the tobacco note, which is, you know, obviously heavy and smoky, blending that with the slightly sweeter fruit notes. So very, very interesting fragrance. I believe there's also some vanilla mixed in there, so definitely something unique and fun to wear. once the weather starts getting pretty cold. And again, longevity is through the roof. You know, you won't have to worry about this fragrance fading away at all. It will really just stick to you and stay there. Then, moving on to one that I recently ran out of, unfortunately, which is Coco by Chanel. So we're not talking about Coco Mademoiselle, which is a new fragrance. We're talking about the original Coco, which came out in the 80s. And it is a really beautiful, spicy women's fragrance. I mean, the 80s was a time when spicy, heavy fragrances were popular for women, and this is definitely kind of the epitome of that. Besides spice notes, it has civet, musk, wood notes. I mean, super heavy stuff here. At the same time, still very feminine. You know, it's smooth. It's not, I would say, while it is spicy, it's definitely not as spicy as, you know, Youth Do here, which is the spiciest thing I've ever smelled in my life. Coco is a little bit more smoothed out, not quite as, you know, crazy, I suppose. And very, very nice. I mean, Chanel obviously knows how to make really, really great fragrances, and this is no exception. I would say longevity, good, not as good as some of these other ones. Maybe 6 to 7 hours. But, I mean, you know, it's still pretty good. So, definitely a really nice option if you want something spicy, but just not too crazy. And then another one that I think is a really good option is another Chanel fragrance, actually, which is the ever classic Chanel No. 5. So I know some people don't like this. You know, maybe they think of their grandmother when they wear this or something, but this is definitely one of my favorites. It's a classic, the classic to beat all classics. It is a pretty well-layered floral aldehyde fragrance. It has lots of different florals. The aldehydes make it a little bit bright and kind of crisp. At the same time, it has really, really wonderful base notes that really warm it up. Like civet, musk, sandalwood, oak moss, amber, you know, all those notes that ground the fragrance, make it more complex, and best of all, adds a really nice layer of warmth to the entire fragrance to really make sure it sticks around. You know, it's not just gonna disappear from your skin after an hour or two. This is a very solid floral fragrance, again from the 1920s. So, you know, it's been around for a very long time. It's tried and true. You can't really go wrong with it unless you just happen to hate it, you know. But overall, I think this is a really nice option, especially for evening wear during the autumn. So those are my top options for my most worn fall fragrances. So hopefully you found this video enjoyable. If you have any questions, of course, you can leave those down in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, leave a like and maybe subscribe. And I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.